got great respect for him and what he has done and what he's probably going to continue to do.
That was Bo Nix at the bottom of a well talking about the Denver Broncos interviewing him during the NFL Draft Combine, which wrapped up over the weekend. Workouts concluded for everybody that people care about. Kickers and punters, they're going today. But it's like, do we really want to see the punter on the 40?
Side note on that, did you see McAfee on Up in Smoke?
No.
He said that he
When
lied.
you said that, I was like, what is McAfee doing with Cheech and Chong? But then I remembered Matt Barnes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All the smoke. I said Up in Smoke. All the smoke. I got to get my weed-centric shows.
That's right. Come on.
But yes, he did smoke a blunt with them and then told them that he lied through his teeth about being a holder.
Oh, really?
Never held in his life.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Indianapolis, and he's got a Hall of Fame kicker in Adam Vinatieri, who sent him to a holding camp in North Carolina for 4 days.
I think if you go to a 4-day camp, you can really get it down by then.
Probably get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, I completely lied to Jim Irsay. Told him, I held all the time, like 3 times a week.
That can be a holder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure he knows kind of how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, roundabout way. You're out there with the kicker often. The holder's not always available. But that's one of the weird things about the NFL is that they put the punter is always the holder. Mm-hmm. And then in college, it is you have somebody with reliable hands or your backup quarterback. And
you set them up to get killed.
No. It's a penalty, 15-yard penalty if you touch the holder. Yeah. Well, that's pretty dumb on the other team.
Same.
As a holder, I never got hit.
Really?
Never. No. Never got hit as the holder. Because if they do, I mean, it's all right.
I got smushed as a long snapper.
We'll take it. Not supposed to do that either. Yeah. But the combine wrapping up, and we got some big movers, and the biggest of movers maybe. And here's the thing about the combine that I think gets lost on people. If folks are up in arms over Caleb Williams not working out, or Jaden Daniels, which is a little bit more confusing, but not doing any measurements even. Mm-hmm. That was a weird thing from Jaden Daniels, is he didn't get weighed, had no measurements done.
He probably want to pop up being a little skinny.
He was just there doing interviews. And for those guys, though, for the guys at the top of the draft, That's combine normal. Is not for them.
No.
Well, it's not normal to do as little as what we're seeing guys are doing now, but it's not for them because all that they can do is lose money.
Yes, it's done.
What the combine is for the guys who can make money. And Xavier Worthy made him some money by running a 4.21 40 and knocking off John Ross as the fastest man in the combine's history. It is for the guys who are late first round or second round guys who can jump up. The fourth round guys who can work their way up, and guys who may be viewed as undrafted on some boards, you work your way into the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. Mm-hmm. That's what the combine is for.
And the collection of medical records.
You want to hear about, Caleb Williams, and how fast his 40 is. Nothing good can come from it if he does it. Only bad things can come from it.
He pulls a hammy or something ridiculous running the 40.
And we saw Xavier Worthy. I mean, we saw almost everybody who ran a really good 40.
He had pulled up with a hammy or a groin.
And they were like, oh, nope, not going to do it.
Including Amarius Mims, who ran a 5.02 at 6'7", 340 pounds.
That is incredible. Watching the linemen run the 40 is now more fun than watching some of the receivers and running backs, because we saw 20 players run under 4.4 this year.
This class was just dumb fast. We were watching it on Friday and it was just like 4.3, 4.3, 4.3, 4.3, and you're going, what the hell is going on here?
Guys like Troy Franklin, he kind of quieted a lot of his concerns on his top end speed, running a 4.41, which is blazing.
Very fast.
Even though he's weighed in at 176 pounds, but so did Xavier Worthy. And here's the other thing too, is those guys there's running weight and then there's football weight.
Yeah.
And they were at their running weight and they
ran
fast.
Combine record 4.21 40.
For Worthy, and when he ran that second one, he just kept running. I was like, yeah, I'd do that too.
Yeah.
I'd have just ran right out of the building.
Yeah, Bo Jackson.
I was watching with buddies. I'm like, just go, just leave.
Just leave.
Right now.
Walk it off.
Your buddies can grab your backpack, whatever, just run out the tunnel and go. But he did his victory lap, and that was impressive.
Yes.
But you had the running back, Guarnero, Guadero, the kid from Louisvle.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard of him before. Dude was a workout warrior, ran like a 4.33, had a 39-inch vert. Like, he was all over the place.
Top 5% and everything.
And so the combine works for those guys. The combine also works for those if you're not number 1 or number 2 in the quarterback list.
The pecking order sorting itself out.
You can
between
jockey yourself up.
Which Penix and Nix, by all accounts, both of them did very well, and it's going to matter a lot because it is official. Ian Rappaport has said that Russell Wilson is being released. It is going to happen. He is done. He will be released as part of the new league year.
Well, that leads to what Mel Kiper Jr. said on their on their combine coverage.
He's 24 years of age. Will Levis last year I thought was going to go in the top 5. He dropped to the second round. He didn't have the great year because he was beat up and they didn't have the line, but he was 24. And you think about where we are with Bo and that offense and coming out of 2 years at Oregon, he doesn't show great arm strength. He played in a great system with great players around him, both at wide receiver, O-line, and running back. And he's going to he's a borderline first-round pick, Heather. He's a borderline first. Somebody may trade back into the first to get him. At worst, it goes around where Will Levis did, who actually Tennessee traded up in the second round to take Will Levis. Okay, so he'll go, I think, late 1, early 2.
There could be a push to get him at 12, though, the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. The fit with Sean Payton, a lot of people are pointing to the mental makeup of Bo Nix between the ears. Bo Nix just, by all accounts, knocked it out of the park in the interview process.
I mean, you look at what he has done through his growth process as a quarterback, coming to Oregon. By the time he's leaving, he's seen it all.
The correctables with Bo Nix are the ones that Sean Payton probably is a guy that he says, I can fix those. Because it's not Bo's ball placement, it's ball trajectory. Mm-hmm. Like, there's 1 ball, 2 ball, and 3 ball. 1 is on a line, 2 is that in between, 3 is the high arcer. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what the criticisms of Bo Nix have been, and we saw this during the throwing portion on Saturday, it is he'll throw a 2 ball when he's supposed to throw a 1. He'll throw a 3 when he's supposed to throw a 2. And that messes up your timing.
Sure.
Those are things. But arm strength is not the question. Ball placement, not the question. Mm-hmm. Ball delivery is more of the question.
The angle of approach.
With Bo Nix. Yeah. And between the ears is where he gets the rave reviews. So whether that is Denver sitting there and trading back up into the first round to get Bo Nix or taking him at 12, they're definitely players in the quarterback market right now. And Bo Nix may not drop past 12 because of that. Because also, J.J. McCarthy is vaulting up draft boards. Mm-hmm. Something I don't quite understand what the performance that he had at the combine. I don't understand why that was what pushed him into the top 10 because he was not overly impressive. And one of the big issues that he had was delivering outbreaking routes. And when the hash marks are in closer together and you're more towards the middle of the field, because this high school hashes are wide, then you go to college hashes are a little bit tighter. NFL hashes are very tight. They're right in there. J.J. McCarthy is a phenomenal athlete. J.J. McCarthy,
which he didn't test out.
Yeah, but
only 4 quarterbacks ran 40s.
Yeah,
4.
As that tracks.
Like it seems a little crazy though, right?
Tracks, yeah, it does seem wild. But they wanted their creatures of comfort. They wanted, in a lot of these quarterbacks like J.J. McCarthy. Weight was the issue. Weight was the issue with J.J. McCarthy. He weighed in at 219. We were just talking about what your running weight is as opposed to what your playing weight is. J.J. McCarthy was listed at 209 or 202, and he weighed in at 219 at the combine. That's a big improvement. I would imagine that J.J. McCarthy is not going to weigh himself at his pro day. He's going to run his 40, though, and I bet he's going to shed a couple of pounds before he runs that 40.
Well, the weird thing was he did do 3-cone and shuttle.
Okay, nice, good.
But, like...
He's athletic, though, and that's all you can. He is an athletic quarterback, and everybody's like, oh, he's just deceptively athletic. He's a white quarterback that can run pretty well.
I wonder with McCarthy, too, is it because of the system that he played in? Like, he was asked to do so little in that system. Does he almost get a little bit of like a Bo Jackson, like tall tale effect of like, look at his athleticism, look at all the throws that he can make, look at all the decisions that he has made. It seems like when Michigan is in a tough spot, he seemed to make a big play or he seemed to make the right play to allow another player to make the big play, right? So does he get talked up and now vault up boards because people are going, well, he did these things, so he could do even more if we took the leash off.
He's a winner.
Because I go against everything you just said. This is Jim Harbaugh we're talking about here. Do you think Jim Harbaugh, if J.J. McCarthy is the second coming of quarterback Jesus, is going to throw the shackles upon him and go, no, we're still going to just run the ball? No, he's going to. If his quarterback is an absolute dude of dudes, he's going to have him get in the game. The number of times that they had him not throw the ball endlessly. And so I was like, I don't understand how you can skyrocket up the boards having so-so workouts. Like, he didn't do anything to hurt himself, but he didn't do anything to help himself.
Jim Harbaugh's football fever dream is to have a offense that just is able to maul you and run the ball absolutely when they need to, at will.
Sure.
Anytime they needed J.J. McCarthy to throw a football, I'll give it to him. He connected. I mean, he truly did. And if you look at his attempts, I think we're sitting there and he's like, he didn't throw the ball very much. He threw 330 times this year, And if you look at Andrew Luck in 2010, 372, and 2011, he threw 404 times. J.J. McCarthy had about 332 and then 322 yards, or 332 and 320 attempts in back-to-back years. I mean, there is a pretty big jump to the 400 that Andrew Luck had in 2011, but this is more of that's how Harbaugh operates this way.
But also,
and it's not like they didn't really put the shackles on him. He threw the ball. He threw the ball 332 times and completed 72% of his passes. Would you want him to throw the ball more and have incompletions?
The only team that he threw the ball on with any kind of real regularity, with a success rate that wasn't a bad team, was Alabama.
Yeah.
That was it. Otherwise, he threw it against Michigan State. He threw it against Iowa. He threw it against East Carolina.
Iowa's defense is really good. We can criticize their offense all we want. Their defense is top 5 defense.
Sure, but also Cooper DeJean not playing, and also they can't do anything offensively against Michigan, and they're getting thrown off the field. But then he also the most attempts he had all season was against Purdue.
Yeah.
So you see where he didn't throw like crazy was against the better teams.
But they won.
Again, the Michigan side of things, where it's like, if he thinks he's going to unleash this,
do we just want attempts against good teams? Is that what we're looking for? Because I mean, you can go to the Penn State game and say he did not attempt a pass in the second half of that game, and they were absolutely dominating.
Yeah, no, they just ground them into dust. But also, 7 of 8 for what, 60 yards?
Yeah.
You look at his average depth of throw. You look at his yards per game. You look at even with the attempts, the total yardage, it's not there. Like nothing. There's nothing downfield. There's nothing explosive.
And the thing I do worry about is his arm strength and getting the ball to the outside. And you have to do that in the NFL. And he was not accurate. And look, the accuracy issues at the combine, they should not be overblown because these are receivers where you have zero timing with. You do not throw with them. All these guys are trying to match themselves up with their receivers and get it to the outside. But there were a couple of bad throws that he had, but everybody has those bad throws at the combine. So I'm not going to make too much of that. What I do worry about is J.J. McCarthy the guy who can make all of the throws in the NFL? Because we haven't seen that.
And I don't look at him and go, yeah, no, he's been tried and tested. You don't? No, I don't. As a quarterback, no. If I'm looking, how many successful quarterbacks are there in the NFL right now where you're like, they weren't asked to do a whole lot in college, but man, in the NFL, they've really gotten it done. Mahomes, the entire offense was built around him. Joe Burrow, the entire offense was built around him. You go down the list. Josh Allen, the entire team was built around him at Wyoming. Go down the list of every single.
But that was the knock on Josh Allen.
Was accuracy.
Well, no, it was against good teams. He was awful.
Yeah, but also
he was god awful.
His accuracy was also atrocious.
And like I look at it and I go, I think it's more of what do these guys have between the ears and checking your ego at the door. I mean, McCarthy did that at Michigan, and also he always got his team in the right position. And I think I think that's what a lot of teams are propping up guys like Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy over is making sure you get your team to the right play. And that isn't always like, because we have a lot of quarterbacks that are like, nope, I'm going to put it on my arm and we're going to wing it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sit there and you turn around, you're like, I've got Blake Corum or I've got Bucky Irving next to me, I'm going to get the ball in their hands. And if the right play is there, I'm going to make sure we are in the right play to be successful. And I think that is where, like Tom Brady got knocked because his numbers weren't great.
Sure.
The whole getting benched for, it wasn't Chad Henne. Who was it?
The other
Drew Henson?
one.
Drew Henson.
Yeah.
Getting benched for Drew Henson. Like everybody's like, who's this clown? Right? But between the ears, that's where he was the separator.
I just Vancouver Fort.
So JJ McCarthy is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah,
I also
that's what
wonder.
you can get out of that.
I also wonder too if like the success of Brock Purdy and other game manager style quarterbacks with the inflated contracts that a lot of big time NFL QBs are getting, if some teams are going, well, we can get a game manager who's going to put us in the right spot, and then we'll build around them with more players. And yeah, we'll have to pay him $20 to $25 million a year, but we can build a better overall team. Maybe that's another way to get to a Super Bowl, as opposed to let's just keep taking big swing after big swing and hope that one of these guys with the gigantic ceiling potential will eventually hit.
The pushback number one to that is Purdy attempts 475, 365, 407.
Yeah, he threw the ball a lot.
Threw the ball all over.
They
the
were down a lot,
but again, they put the entire offense on his back, and he showed, for better or worse, there was a lot of tape on him.
But he also had
what
Brees
his arm
Hall.
was. Useful in the backfield.
They ran the ball. They ran the ball a lot too, and playing from behind is one thing that JJ McCarthy really didn't have to do a lot.
It'll juice your numbers, certainly. But from the Vancouver Ford text line, and this is kind of where I ultimately fall on this, JJ McCarthy, I get very strong Mitch Trubisky vibes.
Why?
It's just, there's just something there. I'm not in. I am terrified of him going 13
I don't
to the
get
Raiders.
Trubisky vibes because Mitch Trubisky just didn't play. Like, we have a lot of film on JJ McCarthy and a lot of really good wins. I struggle with the idea that we think that he can push the ball to the boundary in the NFL when that was obviously a concern in college, and now you're going to put him against the best players in the NFL trying to push the ball to the boundary.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.